Hey guys, Harry here, and I'm doing a FitzBrick review today on the FitzBrick made by Richard Fitzgerald. This is going to be a little bit of a sort of bricklaying vlog slash After8 tool review, but I'm just going to label it an After8 tool review slash bricklaying vlog. I said that twice, but anyway. Having a beer, we're having a San Miguel tonight. These were, the local spa where I get most of my drink on a night. I only buy 4 bottles at a time because if I started buying crates and crates, I'd not be getting up for work. So get a few bottles and then I'll just mix it up every day. You know, if I have a couple one night and they're not very nice, I'll leave them in the fridge till weekend and then go and get another couple of different type. Then just mix it up. I don't stick to drinking one beer because then it starts to taste like, piss after a bit. So anyway. In today's video, we'll talk about these, the FitzBrick. I did this review already, but I started rambling as usual. A lot of people say I moan on in videos, but I don't. I tell you what, I don't moan compared to, you just talk to any bricklayer on site you meet, and they'll moan. This isn't moaning, this is professional voiceover. Anyway, this is a FitzBrick. It says FitzBrick on it, if I turn it round. It says FitzBrick on it. You can't even fucking see because I'm terrible at aiming this camera. I'm using the iPhone 8 camera, so using the missus's hand-me-down since I don't use phone contracts anymore. I've just oiled these up with a bit of 3-in-1 WD-40 sort of thing. Just oil them up. It can affect. Obviously, I'm going to get oil on my hands doing this now, but it can affect how easy it is to squeeze the FitzBrick, depending on where your fingers are placed. So try and have them level with your thumb, and then you get an easier squishing the FitzBrick. They can get hard to squeeze because the spring on them is very strong. So yeah, that's where your line runs on the tooth side, where you've got them little teeth marks to grip the brick, and obviously that's what traps the line there. So obviously, I'll spin that round. Your line runs on that side. Not this side, which I don't know. I don't think anything would stop it running on that side, but it just wouldn't really sit on the brick very well. So I suppose you could maybe use the other side of the FitzBrick if you really needed to. Yeah, there's nothing that really would stop you using that side of the FitzBrick, but it is meant to be used on the tooth side because that's where the brick and the line's gripped, and then you can move your line up and down the teeth. Obviously into that little hole. See a little hole there where there's a little little hole where the line's meant to sit and run. That's where it's meant to go. So they're pretty easy to get used to using. It is one of these things that depends on how you build it. If you're always using profiles and you're not building corners, it can be one of them things that you might only use on your block work, which it will come in handy, especially if one guy's building the corner at one end, building the block corner on the Celcons, and you've got an apprentice at the other side. You can just say to him, right, just bed one on, plumb it, and clamp this FitzBrick on, and then we'll run. You can start running in while I carry on building the corner. That's one of the methods you could use. I think it'll be especially good to use on the heavy blocks as well because, banging a line into them, you can sometimes wobble your corner a lot of the time. So if you can just clamp a FitzBrick on, it's just miles easier. I was using them extensively building little rack backs. I was using the smiley line technique, which I've talked about. If you Google, if you YouTube any of the Richard Fitzgerald interviews with, I think the landscaping firm, I forgot his name, but Brickwork and Landscape, or Brickwork and something, a guy does an interview with him talking about the methodologies and his vision for using the FitzBrick, how it should be used. But I've utilised some of the methods he's told me to do in the video. So if you just YouTube After8 Bricklayer and FitzBrick together, you should see a couple of videos of me using them. And then every video since I got them, since he sent me them, which was very kind to do, because these are normally £35 a pair, and I was lucky enough to get some for free. So regardless, I was about to buy some before he messaged me. I was literally about to buy some that weekend, and I saw him messaging me Instagram requests. I was like, who's this? And then I looked at it and I thought, oh, I know that name. And then but they are a fantastic tool. So they're well worth the money. A lot of the time you only need one as well. A lot of the time you only need one. Especially if you're using a corner block, within one end using a corner block or one end pinning into something that's gone solid, and you haven't got anywhere for it to put it, and then the other side using a FitzBrick, it's going to be really helpful. A lot of applications to use. If you're running in two big corners, if you're one of these gangs who builds big corners up with the profiles, running in two big corners, put your line towards the middle of your racks, and then just clamp your FitzBrick down. Each course, tingle it up, and then when you get to the level of the line, you're tingling up then. It's just like using a tingle, really, but obviously it's in one motion, clamping it on. So this is what I was using to oil the FitzBrick, 3-in-1 oil. Just cheap stuff from B&M or something. And the bits I oil are basically the contacts. Can you see where it slides? You'll probably not be able to see because this camera's diabolical, but where it slides, anywhere where that metal contacts each other, oil it, and oil the spring as well. Should last a lot longer, and I can't see any reason why these won't last more or less forever. As long as you look after them, don't drop them off a 3-4 story apartment block or something. Don't do that, and they shouldn't break, to be honest. The only thing I could see maybe needing to replace on them is the spring after a while, if it wears out, but you'd have to be doing some serious use on it, and I think you can get replacement springs for them anyway. But I think it is if you're, abusing them rather than using them, which will apply to any tool. So, yeah, I've only been building boundary walls since I've got this FitzBrick, the FitzBricks, should I say. They come as a pair, and it's something that that it's just I've found it's no end uses for it, and it's just something that I think that when you start using it, you get faster at using it. You'll realise why wasn't I using this 10 years ago. It's only been on the market, a couple, 6 months to a year, so it's a fairly new tool. And I've made a video being sceptical on it before, and it's definitely put any of my criticisms to rest because it is easy to use. From the first day I used it, it looked like I've been using it forever. So it's dead easy to start using. And I'm going to go into a few different videos on how to, little nuances with it that sort of people don't go over on a lot of the YouTube videos. When you see people using it, you think, how does that work? How does that work? And I'm going to, if I get some time, if I'm ever doing any remedials or any bits of, patching, and I get any time where I can just stand for half an hour and do a little video at work. Probably going to do it when I get the GoPro first person, so you can see how my hands are, handling the line, handling the FitzBrick. Because, there's guys who've using it on the head cam on YouTube, and it just looks a little bit elusive where when you get used to using it, it looks that quick, you can't always tell what's happening on screen. From a little YouTube video, that is. So yeah, so this is today's video. I know it's a little bit amateur with using the camera and stuff, and I'm not really looking into the camera, I'm looking past it into the viewfinder, which I'm using the backwards facing camera, so I can't see myself, but I'm using the missus's makeup mirror, and I can see myself in that, so I can tell if I look like an idiot. And it's been well hot today. We've been in the 20+ degrees again. I'm sat on a leather sofa. Well, I think it's real leather. It might be fake leather, I don't know. Fucking rest of furniture we bought from this place where I got this was rubbish. So this is the only thing that we got from furniture factors that was any good. Everything else we're almost fucking knocking it down now and getting rid of it. But yeah, these leather sofas, the only thing in hot weather, you stick to them. Legs are sticking to them. I have to change my boxers because I'm fucking sweating my arse off. So yeah, on some boundary walls tomorrow. Surprise, I've built probably like 5 since I the last garage I built, I've built like 4 boundary walls, so you know it's kind of a bit monotonous, but I love doing them. They're really easy. Boundary walls are my favourite thing to build, to be honest. Probably other than boundary walls, garages in winter. Garages in winter are nice because the gobbo don't go off as quick. You can point both sides a bit easier. But then again, you've got wet bricks to contend with, whereas like a wall, it's easier in summer because you only got one side to joint, and there's, you know, I like building them 18-inch pillars. You get a couple of free bricks in the middle, you know. As long as there's not too many and there's not too many squints in them, they're all right. But I think I'm building a boundary wall footing tomorrow, and hopefully I can just carry on building it, because it seems on this site at the moment they're building up walls before the plots go up and just leaving space for scaffold, and then you haven't got the situation with a lot of sites where they're rushing to get the walls finished for CML, and then you're fucking walling on topsoil. There's topsoil around the wall and it isn't finished, and that's a general thing that we're happening on a lot of jobs where they just left the walls and garages to end, and then you were coming back and finishing them and had no access for your gear. Whereas if you build them, you know, before plot goes up, it's easier to get in and out to build them, because there's a lot of bricks in these walls. They're like 2 metre high, these walls, like 1.8 to your tile brick on edge, but you know, it sometimes goes a little bit higher depending on ground level. So I've just been leaving big rack backs where the houses are, and then a lot of the time, if I end up having a day's work left on one of them to do, like I did with one of them last week, I filled in, the scaffold went up because these German style scaffolds don't have very many cross pieces, you can sort of work under them. The scaffold had gone up and I could square around my wall, which I'd left the rack back on. So, you know, every wall I'll basically come to all be up to height. And when the scaffold's down, you know, easily get it up to height quickly. And then, you know, did the tile brick on edge and finish them off. You know, within a few days at scaffold coming down, all the trades are fucking attacking it like rabid ants, because of obviously shortage of bricklayers. Obviously, all trades are queuing up to get in plots, fucking rush. And then obviously, like, wall will be done in a few days after scaffold comes down. Obviously, just if I'm doing it, which is nice. You know, I like the fact that on your own, you can just see how much work you've got in front of you. You can go, I've got 2 days on that, 2 days on that, I've got a week on that. Whereas in a gang, you've like, oh, I've got half a day, quarter of a day, half a day, and then you're like, oh, we need to move to another site, we've run out of work. Oh, I've got to wait for scaffold on that lift. Oh, I've got 4 days on that lift, but I'm only leaving 3 days money on it, you know, fucking all that sort of malarkey. It's just rush in bigger gangs. Biggest I'm ever going to be is 1-on-1 an apprentice. So either if my dad retires, I'll have a labourer with me full time, which will be sort of bigger than what I am now, really, because I don't really have a labourer full time. And then, you know, an apprentice to get running in with me. And then he can, you know, if he don't want to stick around after he gets, you know, a lot of young lads, after they start laying 300-400 brick, you know, not really 400, that's a bit of a push, but 200-300 bricks a day, they start thinking, counting up what they're doing and thinking, oh, I can go on my own now, I've fucking had enough. And to be fair, that's the best way to learn, really. Fucking off from a person who's learnt you is probably the best way to learn and realise that it's well hard. But, you know, that's normally a thing that happens. It is in the individual, you know. First apprentice I ever had, you're right, he's probably watching now, but I fucking helped him out, I skinted my son, I was giving away money. Every day we worked together, I would give him my money away, and he just didn't fucking even realise what I was trying to do. He was just fucking greedy bastard. And if this were at time before I had kids, doing that fucking get, you know, I had no favours from doing that. So if I get an apprentice again, be a set wage every day, and then when he starts getting faster, start creeping up, or bit of bonus incentive. That's my plan. I'm not doing any of these fucking 35, 65 splits. None of these splits again. It's just a set wage every day, like I do at Old Man. And that is what it is. And you're learning. And you can progress from there. And if you want to go on your own, you can. It's one of them. It's I always encourage people to go off on their own. It's fucking great. But you've got to learn. You're going to learn it first before you can go and take on work on your own. So anyway, guys, that's a bit of a off topic. After8 tool review, FitzBrick. Me having a beer, sat downstairs with all lights on, you know, at fucking 10 o'clock at night. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow with some footage if I can actually get on something. So thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying the videos, we're smashing through 800 now. We're like almost getting towards 850. I think we're 830 plus now on subscribers. I'm aiming for 1,000. The quicker we can get there, the better. We can get partnered, hopefully, if they don't ban me for my content and me swearing. Hopefully get a bit of monetization on my videos. Claw back all these hours I've been putting into my YouTube videos. People don't underestimate how long I spend. I probably spend an hour filming them on a night if I'm doing voiceovers. So I spend like an hour doing voiceovers. Probably half an hour at work, you know, positioning everything. Probably an hour editing. I'm spending 3 hours, 4 hours of video. In some cases, probably 4 hours with this one. Fucking hell. So, you know, if I've got 70 videos on my channel, that's fucking a lot of hours. I'm putting 300-400 hours into this YouTube channel with all my, you know, with all my thumbnails I make myself. So it's something that I'd like to make a sort of secondary, like my hobby. It is my hobby, like I love doing it, but secondary, a little bit of extra income to help the channel with just all the time I take away from, well, Mrs. is playing Warzone, so I leave her to do that, but, you know, time it takes away from, you know, just leisure activities, getting on top of stuff at home, you know, it just actually gives me some incentive to keep doing them, you know, other than just liking to make them. So, alright guys, thanks a lot for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.